Hello, this is Naya with breaking news from GCQ Turf News.
Yeah.
I am here with Seth Sabodi, our turf scientist,
Yep.
and I thought we would save some questions from you guys from the emails that my mom has been receiving.
Yep.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Yeah, let's ask them because this is a week we got some questions for sure with the hot weather we're dealing with. Naya,
Perfect.
my daughter, by the way, guys.
This is
awesome.
Yes, I am his daughter, Naya.
And so we're having a lot of 90-degree weather this week, and so there's going to be some challenges with that because anytime we're above 88 degrees, turf actually starts to die.
Yeah,
you know that?
I did not know that.
It starts to die. So it can be, challenging keeping it alive and keeping it going through this time so we can survive this time. If it was 90 degrees all the time, we wouldn't have this kind of grass. We would have like southern grass. You know that?
I did actually did know that. I did know that.
It'd be Florida. And Florida grass, I mean, you'd have to work really hard to make it nice. And so I like this nice, soft, barefoot. We're a barefoot family, soft grass.
You're a barefoot family.
There's a few things. What are other questions besides, what should we do with this hot weather?
Yeah.
Watering?
Should I change my watering?
That's a good question because everybody thinks 90 degrees, I got to water today. 90 degrees, I got to water today. And so there's going to be a lot of you tempted to water every single day this week. Did you know that? Lots of people water every single day.
Every day.
When it's 90, right?
Wow.
Which is actually not a good thing to do because what's strange is you think if it gets super hot, right, you'd think that we need more water because more water is going to what?
Right.
Evaporate away, right?
Yeah.
The sun's hotter, everything's hotter, it's going to evaporate away. But, we got high humidity. We've had a lot of humidity, right? Yeah. And also when grass is over 88 degrees, it'll close its stolmates. You know what that means?
No.
That's the pores, like the pores in the skin of our thing. So all of a sudden it can't sweat. So it'll stop at 88 degrees and protect the water in itself and actually use up a lot less water. Because when your grass is growing and transpirating, it's actually using a lot of water out of the ground.
Oh my.
And that's what works through water faster. You know
that's crazy.
It is crazy. So what I say is I bumped up the amount of time that I watered, right? I normally do 3. I kind of snuck away with the 4 last night or yesterday. I watered all day yesterday. It was my second time watering. We did do a second time watering.
We did.
Number 2, right?
Number 2.
I didn't know it was going to rain almost a half an inch last night. So I watered. Then we got 4/10 of an inch last night here. Other places got a little bit. Some got a lot. But we got rain last night a little bit.
Did our rain gauge tell us that?
Yes, it did. The rain gauge. We checked out the rain gauge. Right.
I like the rain gauge a lot.
So what I did is I watered all day and then I mowed in the evening before it got dark. So I stopped watering somewhere around 7 o'clock and then I started mowing around 7:30 and got my yard, and actually we do the neighbors too. So I mowed both yards. That kind of helped dry off the surface a little bit. And the grass, I mean, dude, 90-degree day. Is this nice grass?
This is amazing grass.
I don't think it looks stressed out.
No.
Do I have an irrigation system?
No.
What? How do I not have an irrigation system but I got this good of grass?
Because you have these amazing sprinklers.
Well, I do have good sprinklers, but I use them correctly. That's the part that works. I watered, actually, this is kind of ridiculous, 4 hours in each spot. 4 hours in each little spot. I almost watered on Saturday because I seen a little bit of stress going on. I just kind of held off till Sunday. Then I watered all day Sunday. So Wednesday to Sunday. That's not too bad.
Right.
That's not too bad when it was like really hot. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. And so I'm going to wait now. What I call those little, like when we get 2 or 4/10 of inch of rain, I call those extenders, right? Extenders. Basically just, I don't have to water maybe for like 1 or 2 more days than normal. I call it little extenders. Extenders. If I get an inch of rain, I'm like, that's a full saturation. Yeah. I don't have to water for probably another 5 days unless it rains again.
5 days. Yeah.
That's right.
I like that.
So it's pretty interesting how it all works out. But with mowing, I always work my mowing around my watering. It kind of just helps. I like to have it nice and watered, or I'll mow it in that evening and water deep the next morning if I have an irrigation system.
That actually follows to the next question.
Yeah.
Should I be mowing differently?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I would certainly not mow during the day or in the morning at any time during this week. Not at all.
Not at all.
No, because it'll just hurt the grass and it'll sit all day getting baked and losing all of its moisture even more. And this isn't transpiration. This is just like bleeding out water out of your system, right? Out of the tops of the grass and through the cells. And so that's no good. Mow at night. Mow right before dark. That'll help you a ton this week.
It'll help you sleep at night.
It will. It will.
Yeah, sleep.
That's right.
Good night's sleep.
That's right.
Can I spray my weeds?
No. That's a really good question, Naya, because a lot of people ask me that around this time when it gets real hot. And you shouldn't spray your weeds in your turf when it's 85 degrees or warmer. And that doesn't mean like just like at the time you're spraying it. It means like I can't spray it in the morning of the day it's going to be hotter than 85 degrees.
Right.
Because that herbicide will still stick on those plants and on the grass in this case as well. When it gets too hot, you'll get this little burn in the grass. Now, it doesn't kill it all the time, but why make a bunch of brown spots that are going to hang around for a couple weeks in the yard when you can wait for a week for it to get back in the 80s or lower 80s and spray your weeds then? Now, that being said, you can use Roundup. That's a great time to use Roundup, right?
Roundup.
You can kill weeds. If you're just thinking kill them the grasses and everything, then and you got spots or maybe some poison ivy or something like that. And it's really tough to kill. Spray it with Roundup with some dish soap in it in this hot weather. That's good.
That's a good idea.
It is.
That's a helpful tip.
And if you're spraying after Bermuda grass, you know why you have to spray Bermuda grass when it gets in the 90 degrees?
Why?
Because that's a southern grass. And so it's growing fast enough for you to actually kill it. So those are the only things you can really spray is Roundup or Bermuda grass is a special spray, right, for specific types of things. But your regular old weed killing, just hold off until the cooler weather.
Yeah, just be patient.
Be patient.
Patience is something.
A virtue.
Yeah.
It's a virtue. That's right.
Sure. How do I know when to put my fertilizer down?
During this week?
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna wait, right? Now, if you've already got your June down already, and it's been a few days before this hot weather comes in, that's okay. It's still a little sticky. I try to wait till after. I didn't get my mid-June down yet. I was planning on getting it down this week, but 90s, right? So I'm waiting because if we get that grass growing, if you throw fertilizer on grass, it's not like us where we're like, I don't feel good, I'm not gonna eat. No, it absorbs it and forces it to start to grow. And then it's gonna have this real wimpy, brand new tissue. And you know what's gonna happen if that happens with this hot weather, hot during the day, hot at night, wimpy tissue? You know what's gonna happen? It's gonna get a disease. It's called Pythium. It's a bad one too, it is. It will kill stuff. And that's the guy who's gonna have, when I talked about there's gonna be some desiccation that might happen through this week, that's the guy who's gonna kill it. So you gotta be real careful fertilizing. I would never throw fertilizer down at 90 degrees. If you got a company applying to you and it's 90 degrees in cool season turf and they're throwing fertilizer down,
no.
Fire them.
Fire them.
Yeah, fire them.
Yes.
Fire them.
Fire them. Don't tell them
no.
no.
You're doing it wrong. You're killing my grass, man.
Right. Yeah. I actually thought of something
okay
that I forgot to mention or forgot to ask.
Okay.
What are some tips that I can use to help me water?
Oh, okay. So this is a cool little tool. And I've never talked about this, but this is called a tensiometer, right? And actually, this is really good for houseplants and stuff. They kind of struggle, and I struggle trying to keep them wet and watered correctly. So I got a little tensiometer. This is a super cheap one, but you can go out and you can kind of check out, if you got some moisture in your soil. So I'm going down, it's turning green, right? It's got pretty moist.
Really cool.
Here's what's kind of cool. If I go even farther down, it goes down. You know why it goes down? Because there's less moisture down deeper. So that's pretty cool to know how deep my water actually is. There's a bunch of tensiometers you can get. There's some really cool ones. I'm probably gonna keep looking for more. This one's cheap.
That one's cheap?
It was like $10 or something.
$10?
Maybe 6. I mean, it was cheap. So I was like, but I was just using it for my little plants. But this is a good tool to know, hey, is it dry? Do I need to do that? Of course, if you're stepping on it, if it looks purple, things like that, you need to do things like that. You know, another question they keep asking me too?
What question?
It's like, when can I water? When should I be watering?
When should you be watering?
My uncle actually just called me on yesterday while I was watering in the middle of the day because I got a hose. So that's the only time I can water. He's like, hey, I heard you weren't supposed to water in the middle of the day.
Right.
I was like, what? I mean, why? Why would you not have to water in the middle of the day?
Yeah, well, you're not. You can.
You can't?
You can.
Who said that? Oh, you can.
You can.
Actually, you can. So here's what the deal is with that. It's all about temperatures. I know we just confused everybody, didn't we?
We
We
did.
did. But okay, but it's all about temperatures, right? So if you're pulling out of a lake and you're pulling out 80-degree water, you cannot water during the day. You might be able to get away with a syringe, and we'll talk about a syringe after in a second here, but syringing is when you just barely put a little bit of water down so it doesn't even hit the soil. It just dampens the leaves. And then with the wind, hopefully it's nice and windy, it's going to actually pull that moisture off and cool the turf.
Oh, wow.
You know that in the middle of tournaments, when I was on PGA golf courses, working all those things, I'd be running across the green in the middle of a tournament, throwing water on it real quick, back off. I'd be off.
That's all you can do.
Off in like 5 seconds. I'd be off that green. And I'd go to the next one and cool it down. So that's what a neat little tip you can do. As far as on a homeowner, you know, sprinkler system, you'll probably just turn those sprinklers so they can go around twice. It might take 7 minutes for the guys that rotate, and maybe only like 2 or 3 minutes with those guys that pop up. They get things wet real fast. So just a little bit and down in the hot of the day. Just to cool things down. As long as it's not out of a lake or a stream or it's hot water,
right?
It's even better with the cool water. So you can do it with the lake or stream, but you gotta be real careful.
Right.
You gotta try to water only in the morning.
Only in the morning.
Yep. But
Cool.
if you got an irrigation system or you're running from a hose and your grass is stressing, it's not going to overheat it or stress it out. You can water in the middle of the day. Check your temperature of your water. If it's 50 degrees or even 60 degrees, it's fine.
Right.
It's going to actually cool that turf, cool that soil. I mean, we got 3 inches where everything is going to be protected. So we're good with that.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thanks for answering all your questions.
Awesome.
So appreciate it. You made the breaking news less breaking.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
take it
out.
easy on the watering, okay? Don't do any spraying. Don't do any fertilizing. Just kind of survive it. Mow when you have to in the evenings. We'll make it through this hot spell. Looks like next week's gonna be cooler.
Right. And also look out for July and the contest that is coming up.
Ooh, that's right.
Get those lawns alive and ready.
Listen to these tips, and it's gonna help you keep that lawn looking nice and green and healthy for that contest.
Yeah.
You get a free package.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening.